If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new songs in the description. Now, I can't lie, Megan Thee Stallion seems like she got a little bit finessed by Future here. We're gonna break this down, see what she did, and how this all connects to the new album she just dropped. And so, that's already the starting point. She just dropped a new album. I didn't see a lot of people talking about this, to be real. It's called Traumazine. Apparently, it has some really personal meaning to her. It's about dealing with trauma. It's about all of that. And it's so far not doing that well. We had that one single with Dua Lipa, Sweet as Pie, that is carrying the album a little bit when it comes to sales, but none of the other tracks really popped off like that. We had that Plan B single that she dropped. We also had a couple of singles here and there. She dropped that Something for the Hotties mixtape playlist at the end of 2021, I believe it was. And so, I don't know, this kind of makes me question if her career is still going up or if she's already reached her peak with, let's say, WAP, for example. But aside all of that, we're gonna talk about this new album, and one of the singles that I didn't mention now is the one with Future. It's called Pressurelicious, and you might have heard of this, you might have seen it. It didn't go too big. It only to this day got about 9 million streams on Spotify, and it's been out for about, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks. So it's not doing bad. 9 million in 3 weeks is definitely not bad, but it's not charting. It's not popping off. I don't know what they were trying to do with the single. It just kind of drowns in the sea of the other songs that are on this album. Now, personally, I haven't listened to the entire album yet. I gotta admit that. I still gotta listen to the entire album. It dropped 2 days ago. But just going off of some stuff that she said in a promotional interview she gave for Power 106, the LA Leakers, that she gave talking about this single Pressurelicious featuring Future, is I don't know what to think about this. Let's see what she said. So this album dropped, and of course she went on some promotional spree to talk about this, and one of the things she did was, as I said, go on Power 106 and talk about this. And in this interview, she details how this feature with Future came about. She was like, yo, I wanted Future to be a guest on here, to be a feature. She didn't personally want to reach out to Future because she said, as a female, reaching out to a male rapper in the game always has some insinuation to it that she didn't want to, get across right there. And I get that. I think that was a pretty smart move. So she asked her manager, she asked her team to figure out the price for a feature, the feature price for Future. So she said, so how I went about this, okay, somebody got to figure out what Future's feature price is. I was asking what his feature price was, and they was like, okay, $250. He wants $250,000, which already, I'm like, yo, Future $250. We knew about these other artists that are popping off hella right now. We know about Lil Baby charging $200. We know Polo G upped his price to $150, I think. So these young artists that were really popping off at some point could charge that type of money. But when you think back to all the features Future was doing, even over the past 1 to 2 to 3 years, it is insane to think that for every feature he received $250,000 in not royalties, but in payment as charge for his feature. And some of these Future verses are really not that good. They seem like he did them in the first try. He just went in the booth off the top, 5 minutes, the verse was done, and he's cashing in $250 on every single one of them. To me, that's crazy just to think about that. But that aside, just Future being up there in the conversation, Megan really wanted him to be on here apparently. And so what they did is, she said, I was like, okay, bet somebody got to pull $250,000 out of the bank and go drop it off to Future and tell him I need the verse before he leaves Miami. She says that both of them were in Miami, and Future was about to leave, and she needed that feature before he left because she was trying to finish up her album, get the singles out, get the Pressurelicious song done. And they actually then brought the money, $250,000 in cash, to Future in a backpack, right before he left Miami. That's some I know that stuff like that is going on, but just to hear it like plain and simple like that, you know, I feel like Megan is not involved in deals like this like too much. She kind of seems innocent, you know. I feel like Future is someone who receives $250K in cash regularly, but Megan telling the story is like, oh, so we had to go pull 250 out of the bank. She seems like nice and innocent, and I can only imagine that moment of like dropping a backpack off with $250K in cash for Future, and he's just like, okay, bet, you know, like some Futures type stuff. So that was that. And then actually Future gave her the whole song. Like he gave her the full, like, what is it, like 3-4 minutes that the song is in length, and then she could like pick the verse that she wanted. That's also why in some parts of the song you can hear like Future's background vocals or something like that. So that's actually a dub for Future, you know, that he gave her a whole song, and she could kind of like pick the part she liked, and she had to redo her stuff after that as well. It kind of seems like Future didn't even look at what she already had, because she said she had only a verse open and he just did a whole song. It's kind of Future's, I don't know, I admire this guy. He just doesn't give a fuck, like, for real. So he did the song and she picked her favorite part out of there. But when you listen to the song it's not bad, but it's also not really good. And if you charge $250 for the feature, I don't know if she made that money back from the song. They put it out as a single, maybe as a way to get the money back in that they spent on the feature. That's kind of why I think this was a single, because in itself the song is really not that original. It feels like a Megan song that we've heard 1,000 times before, and I don't think that they made this back in like royalties and in streams, which is, I don't know. It kind of seems like an L for Megan. Maybe she wanted the song to blow up more. I feel like the song would have been the same, and it would have been the same level of successful even if Future wasn't on there. Like, the Future feature is nice, but it doesn't add that much to the song. And looking at how, you know, really irrelevant the song now is, and the flood of the other music that, you know, was released with this album, it just seems like a really big L for Megan, and it seems like she really got finessed by Future for that. You know, it still went over all like correctly. He gave her the verse, he gave her a full song, he got $250. It was a clean deal, you know. But it just seems like Megan is there like, oh shit, like, how are we gonna make the money back? And Future's just like running off smiling like, yo, easy money. So Future's just out here being a menace again, and Megan took a big L for that payment for that feature, and it doesn't seem like the album is doing that well that'll make the money back. But yeah, that's kind of what happened. Future received $250,000 in cash for that feature on Pressurelicious, the song that is really not doing well and not a lot of people are talking about. But I want to know what you think about this. How did you like the song, Pressurelicious? Have you listened to the album yet? I feel like nobody was really talking about this album. Back when like Good News dropped, we talked about that, like, for real. Even something for the hotties or whatever that was called as well. But this new song, this new album, nobody was really talking about that. So let me know your thoughts and opinions about this in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.